Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Jag here, and in today's class we're going to continue with our Math 5-6 content, and the topic we're covering today is going to be on ratios and rates. Okay, so with that, let's get started. Again, we're going to try some really simple questions first, and let's start off with the ratios. Okay, I'm going to take some questions from the textbook, and let's try some simple ones first. Okay, so let's try this one. What you're doing here is it says solve for n in the following proportions. So let's try this one. This is 2 over n, okay, equals 4 over 10. Okay, so just like this. So you can see basically I can write proportions as fractions, and there are other ways of writing them as well. Okay, writing it as a fraction is the most easiest form. So what you're going to do here, I'm going to make an arrow, okay, in the opposite direction. And I'm saying, how am I getting from 4 to 2? So like, what am I dividing by? And I know that 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. And you do the same thing on the bottom that you're doing on the top. So I'm going to do 10 divided by 2. And let's write it here. So 10 divided by 2. And this is going to be the value for n. So I'm just going to write n is equal to 5. Okay, so the first fraction is basically 2 over 5. Does everyone see that? Okay, let's try one more question here. I'll make a line. Okay, let's try the second question. So this time it's going to be 3 over 9. Okay, and it is equal to 12 over n. Okay, so you can see basically, because there are two fractions here, the teacher can put the value of n at any point here within any of the two fractions. Okay, just look at the two numbers that are given to you, okay? And basically look at what direction you're going in. So I picked this example because this time we should always be moving in the direction of n, okay? So that's actually a good way to remember how you're getting your answer, or which way am I actually drawing the arrows, okay? So the arrow is always pointing in the direction of n. Okay, so now if you're looking at the two numerators of these fractions, I'm saying, how am I getting from the 3 to the 12? Okay, so again, I don't have to just divide. I can also multiply these numbers. So I'm going to do 3 times 4, I know is equal to 12. Okay, so on the bottom as well, I'm going to do 9 times 4. And let's write it out. So n is equal to 9 times 4. Okay, just like that. And n is equal to 36. Again, make sure you are boxing, okay, your final answer so the teacher can see what it is. And you can see these proportions are basically just like equivalent fractions. Okay, whatever you're doing on the top, you have to make sure you're doing it on the bottom as well. All right, so I think that looks good, okay, for the following proportions. Again, make sure you are doing a lot of practice questions from the textbook here. Okay, so with that, let's try one of these application questions. I'm going to take this off. Okay, and again, I'm just going to read the question out loud, okay? And maybe we could just draw out a diagram here, all right? Okay, so it says a 40-meter high building casts a 16-meter shadow. So maybe let's just make it like a triangle, okay? So the building is 40 meters high, which makes sense, okay? And the shadow is 16 meters long, which is basically the base right here. Okay, so it seems like maybe the sun is on this side here. Okay, wherever the sun is shining from, the shadow will be in that opposite direction, okay? There's a 15-meter high tree that stands next to the building. So say we'll make another triangle like this. And this is where the tree is. This is where the building is, okay? So I'll make a door so we can see that. This is the building, okay? And the tree here is 15 meters high, so I'm going to put 15 meters, okay? And it says, how long is the shadow of the tree? So I'll just put n, okay? So this is the shadow of the tree that we are looking for. And I can see it is basically a proportion, okay? And that's how we are going to write it out. So let's do 40, okay, over 16, like this, okay? And it's equal to 15 over n. Okay, so just like this. All right, and what we could do actually, okay, is take your calculator and you can cross multiply to get your final answer here. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. And again, remember, you can use your calculator whenever you are calculating several values here. Okay, and the reason for this is just because most likely here we see that this is going to give us a decimal answer. Okay, and we don't want to use the decimal here. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll show you this method first. We're going to do 16 times 15, and then you divide it by basically that third number. Okay, so 16 times 15, and I'm going to divide it by 40. Okay, and the answer is equal to 6. Okay, now if you're looking for the value here, okay, what we're going to do is 15 divided by 40. Okay, the factor here, so let's put like the arrow going towards the end. The factor is actually 0.375. Okay, and what you can do, okay, is I'm going to see if I need to actually multiply or divide by 0.375, okay, to get the answer here. And I know I am multiplying it. And so on the bottom as well, I'm going to do 16, okay? So use your calculator here. I'm doing 16 times 0.375, okay? And I'm basically seeing what my answer is going to be here. Okay, and you can see we're also getting 6, okay, on our calculator. Okay, so what you're going to do for these types of questions, whenever there is a decimal, okay, what I'm doing is basically finding out the actual factor. Okay, so first you could try 40, okay, divided by 15. If you get like a repeating decimal, I can't use that, okay? So then I'm going to do 15 divided by 40, and I'm getting like my factor. So I get my factor of 0.375, okay? Then I'm doing 40 times 0.375, and I'm seeing if I'm actually getting the value of 15, okay? So again, remember, you can multiply or divide by these factors. Okay, so I have to make sure I'm checking. And because when I checked it on my calculator, I did 40 times 0.375, and that gave me 15, okay? So I know that on the bottom as well, I need to multiply. So I did 16 times 0.375, and that gave me the value for n, which is equal to 6, all right? So the question was basically, how long is the shadow of the tree? And we should put basically a therefore answer here. So I'll put therefore. Okay, the shadow of the tree is 6 meters. Okay, again, make sure you are watching the units here. Okay, I can't put centimeters. That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, the shadow is 6 meters long. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, that looks good. All right, so let's move on. Okay. And again, there are a lot of application questions within this unit and this chapter. Make sure you are doing all of the review questions within the textbook. All right. Okay, so let's take a quick look here, okay, at the unit price. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, even when you are doing the unit price, this is basically just equal to the rate, okay, and that's what we are using here as well. Okay, so make sure you have your calculator handy, okay, especially for the rates. For the ratios, it's not too big of a deal, okay, because I can just use the equivalent fractions. All right, so let's try this question here. So it just says find the unit price for each, okay, so I have, let's do this one. I have 3 apples, okay, that cost $1.50. Okay, now say I am looking for the unit rate here. The unit rate is always the cost divided by the quantity, okay? So maybe let's write that here. So unit rate equals the cost divided by the quantity of how many. So in this case, I am buying 3 apples. The cost of all 3 apples is $1.50. So what we're going to do is $1.50 divided by 3, okay? So we'll put it on our calculator, and we're getting 0.5. or this is basically 50 cents. So it costs 50 cents per apple, okay? Calculating the unit rate is actually, or unit price is quite important. Okay, and you can see that you can use something like this when you go to the grocery store and you're buying some groceries. I want to know what the best buy is, okay? So that's when you're calculating actually the unit price, okay, of any product. And I can compare the two products to see which one is cheaper for me to buy, okay? So let's try one more here. So I'll just take off the top part, okay? So we are going to try 10 cookies. Okay, and 10 cookies are costing $1.20. So let's put that right here. So $1.20. So one more time, we are going to calculate the unit price, okay? So I'm going to do the cost, so 120 divided by 10. Okay, remember when you are dividing by a base of 10, I'm just moving the decimal place once to the left, okay, when you divide. So it's going to be 0.12. Okay, or basically 12 cents. We should write it like this actually, 12 cents per cookie. Okay, so make sure you're putting the slash sign there. Okay, and I can see it's not, doesn't cost too much per cookie. Okay, but you can always compare the different boxes and see how much you are paying per cookie. Okay, okay, that looks good. So let's take a look at the application question, okay, for the unit rate. So I'm going to take this off. And remember, the application questions are quite important, okay? Make sure you're trying those ones first. Application questions are basically like the word problems, okay? And teachers will always put this on the test, okay? Or a quiz that you have. So let me read out the question. So Matt earns $9, okay, and 75 cents per hour. So let's write that down. So he has $9.75 per hour, okay? And then Caroline earns $235, okay, and 20 cents for 24 hours of work. Okay, so for Caroline, okay, let's write that down first. Okay, so $235 and 20 cents. I'm going to put for 24 hours, okay, of work. And so let's put an S. Okay, and who has the higher rate of pay? Okay. So I don't need to do anything for Matt. I know how much he's making per hour. However, for Caroline, we're going to take the cost and divide it by the number of hours, okay? So let's do rate equals. Okay, or let's put pay rate. This is pay rate for Caroline. So we're going to do 235.20 and then divided by 24, okay? And again, you could just do this on your calculator, okay? And we're going to divide it. And she is making $9.80, okay, per hour, okay? So again, if you're looking at this question, okay, when I'm looking at how much she makes for per 24 hours, $235.20, and that seems like a really big number. However, when you do calculate the actual pay rates, I can see that it's not actually too high here, okay? And the question was, who has the higher rate of pay? Okay, so in this case, basically, it's going to be Caroline. So, okay, so we can put our therefore statement. I'm going to put therefore Caroline has, okay, the higher, let's just write it here, pay rate. Okay, and even though Caroline has the higher pay rate, I can see it's not by too much, okay? This is basically by 5 cents, okay, because she's making $9.80 per hour, okay, compared to Matt, and Matt is making $9.75 per hour, okay. Does anyone have questions here? Okay, these questions are very common in the textbook, as well as on unit tests as well. Pay rate is how much you are making per hour, okay, and that's all you're doing actually. You're basically just taking how much you're making within however many hours you work. In this case, Caroline's working 24 hours. You're just doing the cost divided by the number of hours, okay? And that gives you how much you're paid per hour, all right? All right, so that looks good. So that brings this video to an end, and thank you for watching. Make sure you do like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks, bye.